This is Shakshi Sharma. I went to VRE in third grade to fifth grade, so that's 3 years. I actually came from multiple elementary schools, so when I got to when I got to VRE, it was like a really homey place. I felt very happy there. I met one of my lifelong friends over there. I met so many people that I still talk to today. I Very was a really good place for me because it was close to my house and the teachers were wonderful, the counselors were wonderful. My principal, I think it was, I forgot what my principal's name. No, Mrs. I forgot. But she was one of the really nicest people there. She always talked to me. She knew everyone's name, which was really impressive and really nice too. But I had such a great time over there, and I still talk to some of the people that I went to school with. Like I said, one of my lifelong friends, I've known him for 10 years. We met at VRE in third grade. He was in my class, and we're still friends, and it's the best thing. So right now, look at the people that you're in with, look at the people that you're on a Zoom with, I guess, but those are the people that are going to be with you for a really long time, just because I didn't think I was going to know everyone that I know right now. Like, I've been in the Capella district for my middle school, my high school. Everyone that I know is someone that I've known when I was younger, which is such a nice quality to have. That's why you need to look around and be friends with everyone. So when you grow up, when you get this email and say that you have to come in and talk to VRE kids, you're going to be so excited because it's going to be like, wow, that was like 10 years ago. That's a big deal. It was 10 years ago. That is a big deal. So I don't know how things are going in right now. I actually haven't been to VRE in a long time. I still live near there, but I drive past it and I miss it because we used to do field day and everything was just perfect, honestly. And I didn't even realize how soon I grew up and how fast it was. Oh my God, I'm going to get really emotional, but I really do miss it. I feel like I grew up too fast, and don't do that. Let's see. Let's talk about my interests. I'm a dance instructor. I've been teaching dance. I do Bollywood classes. I teach kids, and I also do Zumba classes for adults. I think it's almost 2 years of me doing that. I started when I was 16. Dance has pretty much been my whole life. I've always loved it. I've always tried to put dance in something that I really enjoy just because it just makes me really happy. And now that I got a job to dance and to teach, it's wonderful. It's the best thing ever. Some achievements. I've actually done some competitive dances. We did a college dance. I was in the showcase. It was really nice. It was really fun. Let's see. I went to Capella East. I stayed there for 3 years. East was wonderful. East was absolutely wonderful. East was the best middle school I've ever been to. I mean, it's the only one, but it's the best one. Miss Springer, she was the best. She knew everyone's names. She was really nice. She was so lovey, and she just made East a better place. And then I graduated from East, and then I went to high school, Capella High School. Miss Springer actually came to Capella High School. She was there my junior year and my senior year. She's still there now, which was so interesting and so much fun because she still remembers my name, and it's really nice. High school has been fun. I honestly can't believe that I'm a senior. It doesn't even feel like it. I feel like if I just think back to my freshman days, it'll just be the same thing. Like, I just can't believe so much time has passed so soon. And that's how it just goes. Like, you never know when the next 10 years of your life just go by. And that's why you should, whoever you're with, like whoever you're sitting next to, whoever you're friends with, keep them. Because lifelong friends will stay there forever. Okay? When you grow up, you're going to find new friends. You're going to go into different cliques. You're going to go into different areas. You might move. You might do all this. Just remember that keeping relationships with everyone is so important because you never know like how it could affect that person either. And keeping a long-term relationship, like a friendship with your friend, like you might not think this is a big deal, but 10 years later, I still talk to the people that I used to talk to, and I'm still friends with the people that I used to be friends with. And people that I used to be friends with, like in VRE, like I had a class with one of my friends in 3rd grade, and I still am friends with him. I had a class with one of my 5th grade members. I'm still friends with him, and so many more people, Kayla, Maya, so many people who are actually might even be in the Zoom, or might be just some of my friends who've actually done the VRE thing, that the email that we got and stuff. So that's crazy because it's been so long since I met them, and I'm still involved in their life, and that's just wonderful, and that's something that you guys should all have. Your next 10 years are going to go by really quickly, and you're not even going to realize that, oh my gosh, I'm a senior, because that was me this year. I was like, wait, I'm a senior, and now I have to go to college, I have to do all this, all that. Don't take your childhood years for granted. Okay.
Hey VRE stars, my name is Om and I graduated VRE in 2014. I attended VRE from kindergarten through 5th grade, and my favorite memories from VRE were in 4th and 5th grades. In 4th grade, my class won the donation drive for, I think, the American Heart Association, and I think we raised around $800. So yeah, we won. And we got to play the teachers at the end of the year, and my class actually won, so that was fun. And then in 5th grade, we went to Sky Ranch. I'm pretty sure that's everyone's favorite. Um, yeah, so there was a big maze there. We sat around campfires. Um, we slept on bunk beds. It was my first time and only time. Um, yeah, we slept in log cabins. So once I moved on to middle school, I joined the basketball and tennis teams. And once you join a sport in middle school, you kind of experience like time management issues, especially if you start doing high school courses like Algebra 1, Geometry, and Spanish. So I took those courses in middle school. And at first I thought there was a lot of work, but now I'm in high school, and compared to back then, I have more work now than back then. So yeah, you really have to really learn time management. Start learning time management in middle school, and I also started volunteering early in middle school, and I won the Presidential Volunteer Service Award twice, and that award is given out by certified organizations. So if you choose an organization that hands it out, you basically have to volunteer for a certain number of hours, and based on those hours, you can either get the bronze, the silver, the gold, or the platinum. So I won the gold award both times, and I think you have to volunteer maybe 300 hours in 1 year. So yeah, that's a lot of hours, and you have to set aside a lot of time to do that. And I actually can't believe I'm graduating high school in June. So sometimes I can't believe I'm still in high school. And I'm planning on majoring in computer science after high school. I still don't know what college I'm going to, so I'm waiting on my decisions. But in high school, I really, because I wanted to do computer science, I focused on activities that focused on coding. So I joined the Artificial Intelligence Club, and in that club, we basically learned how to code and make machine learning programs. I'm sure you'll learn about more of those in the future, but um, so something I wanted to tell you guys was when you go on to middle school, and once you graduate middle school, you might want to like research more about high school, because in case you move to a different high school or a district, because each high school has different learning curves, and Also, if you're planning on going into sports in high school, I suggest just keeping academics as your backup because let's say you go play sports in college, and let's say if that doesn't work out, then you always have academics like school, your grades as a backup, so you can always move on with life from there. And so for me, I divide high school into three categories: uh, academics, which is grades, sports, and then entertainment, which is like things that you find fun. And you really have to find the time to do all three because uh, pretty sure everyone wants to entertain themselves, but if you don't keep up with your grades, then you're not gonna do well later on in life. So I'd say you have to find the balance of all three. And yeah, thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm Maya, and I went to VRE from kindergarten through 5th grade, so for 6 years. And probably my favorite memory from VRE is our 5th grade Sky Ranch trip. And with what I know now, something that I would do differently when I was in elementary school is just to kind of remember to enjoy it. You're so young, there's nothing to really worry about, and just kind of make as many memories and friends and have as good of a time that you can. So for my activities in middle and high school, I was definitely involved in quite a lot. But I think at the beginning, I kind of leaned a lot on habit 5, which was seek to understand, then be understood. And that really comes from middle school, where I was only really involved with sports. So taekwondo, and then cross country, and then finally tennis, which, as you can kind of tell, I stuck with at the high school. But as I got older and into high school, I joined a lot more clubs. One of them being Business Professionals of America, where you create different projects and then present them to industry professionals. Another club that I'm a part of is JWAC, which is Junior World Affairs Council, and they put on Heritage Night at the high school. So if you've ever come to the high school on a night and seen a lot of dancing and music, that's probably what it was. And then the last thing is WAVE, which is a mentorship program where industry professionals from business, engineering, or education will come in for an hour every month and talk to you about their experiences and how you can gain internships and just overall career advice. So looking back, some of my major accomplishments include getting a first prize place on the NASA competition that I did back in 7th grade. So we basically had to write a huge report on how to create a free floating colony in space, and that's where that kind of comes from. And then more recently, I was named a National Merit semifinalist, an AP Scholar, and then I also have a second degree black belt, and I'm a certified level 1 instructor for Taekwondo. I also work and volunteer, and because of all these various things I do, I really need to focus on habit 3. So first things first, get your priorities straight. So, for me, that's first school, and then it comes to my job. So I'm an SAT and ACT tutor, and here's where I personally bring in habit number 4. So, think win-win. How can I help someone else, and how can I learn from them? And then I go on to my volunteer work. So I've also co-founded a club at the high school called CHS Heifer, which is essentially a charity club for the organization Heifer International, which works on eliminating hunger and poverty around the world. And this is really where I brought in habit number 7, which was find your voice. Then I am also the treasurer for Habitat for Humanity, and working with a lot of other people here is where I really bring in habit number 6, which is synergize, so a lot of collaboration. My plan after high school is to definitely go to college. I am currently waiting on a lot of my decisions, but I do have one, and it's from A&M for a full scholarship. And I'm kind of just saying that not to brag or to scare you, but to really just show you what hard work can accomplish, and what opportunities are out there. So I really just kind of encourage you to find your own path and figure out what you want to do and what could be waiting for you. In terms of preparing for my plans for after high school, I really did look to habit number 2, so begin with the end in mind. I knew going into high school that no matter what I wanted to do, I had to have good grades, I had to be well-rounded and, have various volunteer activities and extracurricular activities. But I also knew that I didn't want to do this just for the sake of doing it or for adding to my resume. I wanted to do things that I actually liked, that I was actually dedicated to, and that I knew would make a difference. So that's what I would really encourage you to do, is to find things that you like and stick with them. Because that shows so much more about you as an applicant than if you do a million things, but only to the bare minimum. And then I'd also say look for opportunities to stand out. So, whether that's in your college essays, or you get some really cool internship opportunities, or you travel somewhere, any type of unique experience that you can write about or put into your applications is just going to make you that much more interesting to the admissions officers, and that could really help you gain an advantage. For my last piece of advice to you, I'd really kind of go on the lines of habit number 7. So sharpen the saw. And with that, I say just stick to your morals and your values. At the high school, there is a lot of academic cheating, trying to get to the top, the highest GPA, things like that. And what I say is that, a 92 or a 97 is not going to make or break your college admissions, but cheating will. So, stick to who you are, know what you're worth, and also just take time to enjoy the present and don't be too caught up chasing the future. And with that, I just want to say good luck. You're gonna have a great time in middle school and high school and the future. And I can't wait to see you guys making these videos when you're in high school. So yeah, good luck.
Hi, my name is Matthew Lee. I am a senior at Capel High School, and I attended Valley Ranch for all 5 years of my elementary school career. And I was part of the Valley Ranch Elementary class of 2014. One of the things I really enjoyed during my time at VRE were the field trips. I don't know if you guys are still doing field trips, because of the pandemic, but in 5th grade I remember going to Sky Ranch and Austin in 4th grade. And both were really fun and memorable events to me, and I even think about those things 7 or 8 years later. And right after Valley Ranch, I attended Middle School West. I was in band for all 3 years, and I played basketball as part of the athletics program for my 7th and 8th grade year. I was also part of the accelerated math program, and I feel like I was really able to succeed here because of the preparation I received. At Valley Ranch, I was part of the GT program at Valley Ranch, and I think I did Math Olympiad for 2 years. I'm not sure. And the one thing about middle school is just you have so many opportunities to try new things, and I say just take all of them. You just have so many different classes or just activities you can explore, so you're really bound to find something you like. For me, it was playing basketball and being part of band. I was also part of the media program in 8th grade, and all of which allowed me to make new friends and find out what I really enjoyed and wanted to continue doing in high school. So after West, I'm still attending Capella High School. So one of the things about high school is that it's really similar to middle school, just a little busier. So in school, I played basketball for my freshman and sophomore year. And besides basketball, I'm part of the AP and IB programs. And I'm part of a lot of clubs like Computer Science, National Honor Society, HOSA, Urbana, and Mu Alpha Theta. And outside of school, I volunteer for the DFW airport as a navigator before the pandemic shut everything down. And I am a basketball referee for the YMCA Basketball League. And I also work at the Whataburger on Den Tap, so if you're ever there, just stop by and say hi. I also interned for a DFW-based fashion upcycling business where we basically turned old or donated clothing into something desirable again. So the big thing about high school is the time management because you have so many different activities and homework and all these things. It can get a little hectic for me. I had to figure out how to juggle athletics, schoolwork, after school activities, clubs, and work. So you just really need to find what schedule works best for you. And on the topic of giving advice, I think it'd be the same as middle school. Just in high school, you just have so many different classes, activities, clubs, stuff like that you can join. I say take as many as you can, and I know you might be nervous to join something new, or that you might not know anyone, but the best thing you can do is overcome that fear because in the end you'll have a bunch of new friends and an activity you really enjoy. Some of the personal hobbies I've discovered through this are photography, sneaker collecting, I build PCs, and so on. There's so many more I could name like that. Once again, for advice, I was told you guys are a leader in me school, and you follow the 7 habits of highly effective people. I really like how early you guys are learning to be successful, and I wish I was able to do these things in elementary school. I had to figure out a lot of the things you guys are learning over my 12-year academic career. So my personal favorite habit you guys have is find your voice. And it's something I really struggled with, and I still struggle with. Mostly because I'm shy. I struggle to talk with people and just meet new people, stuff like that. I mean, I'm still working on this, but my experiences in middle school and high school really helped me. And I think that's all I have. If you have any questions for me, you can email me at msl7998@g.capellaisd.com. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and school year, and good luck to anything you guys do in the future.
Hi guys, my name is Kayla, and I went to Valley Ranch Elementary for 6 years, back when I was in kindergarten up until 5th grade. And I think I graduated in like 2014, so it was a long time ago, and I know that a lot of things are different now, especially with COVID, but I also know a lot of the things are very similar, so I hope that you guys are making the absolute most out of the years that you have now. Also, if you hear some background noise, it is because I have a dog and a puppy in my bed with me. Anyways, so some of the greatest memories that I've had from elementary school, I would have to say field trips like Sky Ranch we went to in 5th grade. That was really fun. The field days, I don't know if you guys still do that. And then also just like PE and recess. And I mention these things because these are the kind of things that allowed us to get out of the classroom and spend time and connect with our other classmates. And that's really important because when you have friends around you, you know, like many of you do, and just making more and more friends throughout school, you're more likely to succeed in the classroom as well because you have those friends and it makes school more enjoyable. So that kind of takes me into what I would do differently now, knowing what I know now, what I would do differently in elementary school. And I would have to say, I wish that I would reach out to more people because growing up, I was always really shy and reserved, and it was easy for me to just stick to the same group of people that I knew and, you know, my friends. And I wish that I just reached out to more people because the reality of it is most of you guys are going to grow up in the Coppell district and you're going to continue going to middle school with these people around you that you may not know very well right now, and then you're going to go to high school, and it's just super, super awesome if you know the people around you, you know. I was involved in a lot of things throughout middle school and high school. One of the big ones in middle school that I was in choir, and that was super cool because singing is one of my passions. And so I encourage y'all to find something that you're passionate about and find something that the school has to offer because they have so much to offer. I did choir through middle school and for part of high school, but also in middle school I was an athlete, so I was a runner and I did cross country and track, and that took me into part of high school. But then my freshman year I kind of transitioned into wrestling, and so I was on the girls wrestling team. And that's another thing I have to talk about is just I think it's super important to get out of your comfort zone because I never would have thought that I would ever be wrestling, but some of my friends were on the team and I was like, okay, let's join. And then I ended up wrestling for the varsity team. And it's so crazy because I never would have thought in the past that I would be doing that, but it's something that seriously changed my life and I'm so grateful for it. And unfortunately I had a back injury and so I couldn't do that anymore. But for the last half of high school, I've been in other things like student council and yearbook. And yearbook I was only in for 1 year, but it was another thing that I was able to kind of incorporate my passions into, like photography and writing. And then student council is really cool because you get to kind of see the impact that you're having on your school and the kids around you. So that's another really cool thing to check out. And another big thing to be thinking about is volunteering and working. So that's going to be probably a pretty big part of your high school career. I would suggest getting started on volunteering early. If you can find a place, like for me, I started volunteering at the DFW Humane Society, which is an urban animal shelter. And I started doing that when I was in like 1st or 2nd grade, and I still go back there from time to time and volunteer. So I would strongly urge you guys to find something that you love and start volunteering because it's amazing to see the impact that you can have on people's lives. And for me, it was like the animals' lives and the people who adopted those animals' lives. So also super cool. And then you'll probably start worrying a little bit more about jobs when you get in high school and you want to make some extra money. I would also suggest to find something that you love. I've tried out a few different fields, like I worked at a doggy daycare, super fun. I've also worked at Great Wolf Lodge as a lifeguard, also very, very fun. And now I'm working with one of my best friends at Jersey Mike's. So there's always something to do, some way to make money. But another thing that goes with that is finding time in your schedule. So for me, I am somebody who likes to write things down, to see them and schedule it. Like I have my whiteboard up there where I have all my whole schedule. And that really helps because it can get really hard to juggle, school and extracurriculars and clubs and sports and jobs, volunteering. I know it sounds like a lot, but you guys are so capable of doing it. I thought it was crazy when I was your age hearing about this. And then I did it. And you kind of realize that you are capable of anything. You just have to schedule it out and find time for yourself. So my personal plans after high school, I will be attending the University of Arkansas for college, and I'm going to be majoring in kinesiology, which is the study of the human body, and minoring in psychology, which is pretty much a study of the brain. So that's really fun, and I'm hoping to be an occupational therapist. The biggest thing that helped me prepare for all of these plans that I have after high school, and even when I was going into high school and going into middle school like you guys are, I would say the most helpful thing is to talk to people, specifically adults. And I know that that can be scary sometimes, but adults have been through life and they have so much advice to give you. And it wasn't until I was talking to a random stranger that I met in Austin, Texas, that I found out what I wanted to do in life, and it lit a fire in my heart because I was able to ask her so many questions and get so much advice from her. And I think that going into middle school, you guys are kind of in a similar position to where you're kind of thinking, what kind of classes do I want to take? What do I want to be involved in? Sports or more like academic based? And your teachers right now, they can help you a lot in that. All you have to do is ask. So if I could give you all just a little bit of advice, it would be kind of what I touched on earlier was starting on things early. So if you know that you have to tackle a task in the future, I would urge you to start planning for that. And, some things seem like it's too far away to even start. Go ahead and just start it. Talk to some adults, like I said, and figure out where you need to start and just run with it. And the other piece of advice would be to talk to people. Like I said, I was really shy growing up, and I remember being scared to ask questions, but it wasn't until I broke out of my shell and I started talking to literally everybody that I met that I learned so much about life. And you may not realize it now, but there is so much to learn about life, and you'll never stop learning, especially if you just keep talking to people and asking questions. So I think that it is really, really cool that VRE is a Leader in Me school and following the 7 habits of highly effective people. And if I could pick a couple of the habits that I found most helpful in my life, would be 1, to find your voice, and another, to begin with the end in mind. So finding your voice, I know for me, speaking up was really hard for me in elementary school because I just got used to people doing things for me, and sometimes I assumed like people like my parents just knew best, but that is not always the case, and you can't always expect people to read your mind and figure out what you want. You have to learn what you want for yourself. So I think that it's very important to first ask yourself, what do I want? And then speak up and tell your parents or whoever you're with what you want, but also why you want it, and give them a reason and think about that for yourself. And the other, just begin with the end in mind. So I'm not saying you have to know what you want. I for sure did not know what I wanted to do in elementary school or even middle school or even most of high school. But just starting to plan and starting to see, okay, not what kind of job you want, but what do you want out of life? And what can you do now to help you get to that point? So I hope that this was kind of helpful. I'm really excited to see what you guys have to do, and I hope that you enjoy your last few months at VRE.